See the game more clearly with high-definition spectacle lenses from Norville Opticians.
Dan, have you been settling in, and how have the players been settling into you, I suppose, more importantly?
I'm settling in fine. You'd have to ask the players how they're settling in with me, I suppose. But no, it's a big change for me, obviously. But yeah, so far so good. I've enjoyed the first, what's been 2 weeks now, so happy with how things have gone so far.
And what have you been, I suppose, trying to develop most with the players? What's been your emphasis so far?
Yeah, it's quite a change, I suppose, I think, in the stimulus here. So we've tried to be focus a lot more on dynamic qualities like speed and agility and plyometrics, power, things like that, and then try and make a lot of our work on the field in terms of conditioning at a lot more of a high intensity as opposed to high volume. So we've just really been focused on trying to get the tempo of everything we do a little bit higher and the intensity of what we do a little bit higher.
And when it comes to on the pitch, that should translate to a more explosive game then?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And that's what I suppose the remit the coaches gave me, I suppose, was that to try and get a little bit more dynamism in the way we play and a bit more tempo in the way we play. So that's really where a lot of the plans that we put in place came from. So.
And in terms of developing that, what sort of set of programmes were you giving the players? I mean, presumably it's one of these sort of things that you've been having to plan for quite a while.
Yeah, you get similar seasons, I suppose, elsewhere, where depending on where a group is at, you kind of set your strategy off the back of that and on what the goals are for the group and what the coaches want. So we would have had scenarios in the past where improving acceleration speed, say change direction speed, being able to operate consistently at a high tempo in a game, it would have been the goal. You know, I'd refer back to things that I would have done then that worked well, and a lot of that's implemented here over the first few weeks, and so far has been going well. So it's just making sure that you're not throwing too much at players so that they struggle to adapt and then end up with a few injury issues. But it's also giving a new stimulus that will push them on into a different type of fitness level pretty quickly too. And
from the programmes you gave them, did they all sort of come back in decent shape?
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with. We did a running test early days when they came back in, and based off some of the input I had in the past, that we were in a pretty good state, which means that we could get into a bit more high intensity conditioning straight away. So that was a good start, if you like, in week one. So yeah, as I said, so far there's a lot of new messages and a lot of new training. So it's trying to get the balance right between introducing new things and then making sure that you're reinforcing things that you said the day before or the week before. So that's a challenge, but I feel like we are getting there and making good progress every day. So
behind where you're standing, there were boards with best times, best weights for forwards and backs. They've gone. Yeah. Is that something that you've made a decision on?
To be honest, it's not. It's nothing against what was there. Really, it's just a clean slate. It's a new regime in the way we're operating as a fitness department. So we just wanted a clean slate. Some of them may come back up over time. But for now it was just to focus on going back to basics with some technical things first, making sure we're doing things well before we focus about how much we're lifting, how quick we're running, how high we're jumping. We'll probably come back to that, but we just want to establish a really good technical base first before we go back to that.
Obviously you've come from Leinster. Was there anyone actually who you knew here of the Gloucester camp really well that you'd worked with before? Obviously, David's got a history with Ulster, for instance.
Yeah, not really, to be honest. Paul Doran-Jones, I had as an academy player a long time ago. I think it was 10 years ago. Tom Denton obviously came over as well from Leinster. Mariano Galarza I had for a short spell at Leinster as well. But apart from that, everyone was new and fresh to me, which, to be honest, was something that kind of excited me and part of the challenge, that just to be thrown into the deep end with a new group of people you don't know and see what kind of progress can be made. So already though, I've gotten to know the personalities pretty quick in a short space of time, so there's one of them there. So far so good.